بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أحمده وأصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. Today I want to talk about the whole COVID issue from a different perspective, which I think is very, very important and has not been talked about enough. And that is that what are some of the specific proofs, both aqlan and naqlan, meaning naql means from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, aqlan and naqlan, and intellectually, how do we know that this is a thing that is like a bioweapon? How do we know? So I want to present to you the evidence that this is a bioweapon. If this is a bioweapon, then I want to put forward that something bigger is going on, and that this something bigger that is going on is something that I will be talking and have talked about in other places. But what does that conclude? I will talk about that after I discuss what I'm going to show you. The first thing I want to show you is, and as I have done this before, right? I have shown you that the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا يدخل المدينة المسيح ولا طاعون, that Masih al-Dajjal will not enter Medina. He will not be able to enter Medina. Many people know this. ولا طاعون, nor a plague will be able to enter into Medina. This is what the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if the Prophet is right, and trust me, he is so right, then that means if we have COVID-19 growing infectiously in Medina, then that means that is not a ta'un, it's not a plague. Now you have to consider, if that is the case, both aqlan or naqlan, that what would the case be? What is the situation exactly? So now, let us start with something very basic. Okay, we have around an average of 340 cases a day in Medina as we speak today. Okay, in Saudi Arabia, in Medina, in the masjid, around the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, there are 340 cases. Also, I want to bring to your attention this saying of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm not going to go over the whole hadith, but I'm going to go over part of it, and suffice it to say, the Prophet's talking about a certain time. ذَلِكَ أَيَّامُ الْحَرْجِ, the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those will be in the days of killing. قُلْتُ مَتَى أَيَّامُ الْحَرْجِ, so the Sahabi asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when will be these times of killing? The Prophet says, حِينَ لَا يَأْمُنُ رَجُلُ جَالِسِهِ, at that time where a man will not be comfortable with the one who is sitting by him. In another hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I have a YouTube video on this, or maybe I removed it and put it on my other channel, but the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that time where the dark pieces of the night, when people will cover their mouth, like their mouths will become like a cow, like one piece of a mouth, like a mask. Okay, and so, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said about that time, let me show you the hadith for that too, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm not going to go into details because I actually want to mention the most important thing that I want to talk about today. So we now see that coronavirus has entered Medina, so therefore it is not a plague, so therefore it has to be what? It has to be a bioweapon, has to be man-made, it's not from nature. And the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, تُعْرَكُ الْأُمَّةُ فِيهَا أُرُكُ الْأَدِيمِ, that the ummah, there will be a trap on the ummah, there will be a war against the ummah. Fiha, and in it, in that war, that includes arak al-adim, the piercing, the cutting, the rubbing, all these meanings of arak. Adim means the skin, the inner part of the skin. So they'll be piercing into the inner part of the skin. Arak is also used for fishing, when you use a hook to go into a fish. Okay? In it will be the pricking of the skin. The Prophet said this. Muhammad said this. He predicted this. And he predicted this so well, I don't have time to go into it. There's only one little piece I'm showing you. The mask the Prophet talked about, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's a small piece. This man is talking about a small piece. When the Prophet is saying that time where a man will not be comfortable with the one who he's sitting with, that's a small piece of the picture. Now, let's go to the scientific aspect of this. Okay? So now remember, the question we're asking ourselves right now is this a bioweapon or man-made? I'm going to give you the evidence, you're going to decide. Okay? I'm going to give you the evidence, you're going to decide. So, let me start by mentioning this YouTube video first. Okay? And I will let this person speak here. Okay?
Putting the actual scientific language on screen now, but this is what it means in plain English. They collected samples of bat feces from a cave near Kunming in Yunnan province.
By the way, this is the research, that's this one that he's referring to. Okay? And he is specifically talking about what is called the AC2 receptors. So they did these experiments, and he's going to tell you about the AC2 receptors. This is the specific place. This is a report done before COVID-19. Okay? Discovery of a gene pool of bat SARS-related coronaviruses provides new insights into the origin of SARS coronavirus. This is 2017. Okay? So you're clear. This is November 2017. Okay? So now it is saying that ACE2 receptor is where they were able to get into the human cells. ACE2 is where they were able to get into the human cells. Now, they did this in the laboratory in 2017, right? They did this in the laboratory in 2017. Now, what are the chances that coronavirus comes out and it does the exact same thing? It attacks this same very receptor, this same very part within the human cell that those 2017 experiments did. Okay? So what is the chance of that? Chances of that? Okay? What is the chance of that gain? Okay? So functional gain is what it's called. Okay? So now, let me show you this video. Okay? Regarding
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really...
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell.
Cell and then multiplies in attaches to this receptor that the SARS-CoV-2 virus latches on to. The spike protein on the surface of the virus attaches to the cells through this receptor.
So, SARS-CoV, which is the SARS-CoV-19, SARS-CoV-2, it latches on to the same part of the cell that those experimental COVID viruses latched on that they created in 2017. And it is through this receptor that they're able to enter into a human being. Otherwise, coronaviruses before this, there's some that become part of our flu, but specifically the ones from the bat, they generally didn't, they weren't really able to stick. Now they were able to stick into the human being. Okay, so it just so happens that coronaviruses started in Wuhan, where they have the main laboratory where they study bats of coronaviruses, including that report that I showed you from 2017 just now. It just so happens it attacks the same place, it attacks the same area of the cell, the ACE2, right, that this coronavirus came out and attacked the same place that where they created these artificial viruses. They manipulated the virus to also in 2017 to come into the human cell through the ACE2 receptors. So is this a chance Or is this a high probability that this is a bioweapon, or number two, it's a mistake? Chances are it's a bioweapon, and the reason is also because the Prophet said that this will be ayyamul harb, the days of killing. This will be the days of killing. So now, with this in mind, now
China. They found many novel bat coronaviruses in the feces. They analyzed them and sequenced their genetic information. They then built various chimeras, genetically engineered new viruses, man-made, in the lab. They infected human cells with them in the lab. And they then showed that their man-made viruses could replicate as a functional virus. Here's the most important part. The genetic change.
Functional virus means you add elements to a virus's genome that makes it more effective as a virulent. Okay.
They made in the lab unlocked a highly specific doorway into the human body. The virus that causes COVID-19 uses that same exact doorway. To be clear, none of the genetically engineered viruses created back in 2017 and reported in this paper were the exact ones we're dealing with now. But what they confirm is that it was possible to make the COVID-19 virus using the techniques developed in the Fauci project. And that project continued for 3 more years. 3 more years of experimentation, 3 more years of man-made mutation. Now let's look at the actual COVID-19 virus. How does it compare to the ones we know were made earlier in the Wuhan lab? The actual pandemic virus was found to stick to human cells 10 to 20 times tighter than the original SARS virus, which is why it's much more infectious. Scientists would expect increases in infectiousness to happen through cycles of mutation, but with this virus, it was there from the start. In a paper published in February 2020, Shi Zhengli confirms that the backbone of the pandemic virus matches one from the Wuhan Institute's library of collected samples. Their 2017 paper describes how they swapped parts of coronavirus found in other animals into bat coronavirus strains in order to make more infectious man-made versions. And sure enough, the pandemic virus looks like a combination of 2 very different bat viruses mixed with parts of a virus from a completely different species. Could something like that occur in nature? That's what Peter Daszak is saying. Quote, maybe a farmer got infected or a farmer's animals and they were shipped into their markets. If a person brings it in or an animal, that virus will spread. And it looks like that's what happened here. If we're to believe that natural origin story, here are the coincidences that would have had to happen. Multiple different species of bats in South China would have to infect each other and some other unknown animal. Then either these animals or an infected human would need to have traveled 1,000 miles without infecting anyone until they got to Wuhan. In its first incarnation, before any mutations, it would have been 10 to 20 times more infectious than any previously observed virus. And most incredibly of all, the infected animal or human would have somehow chosen to make their 1,000-mile trek to the only place in all of China with a lab that had the world's most extensive collection of the viruses it was already infected with, and the one place in the entire world that carried out genetic research which matched that virus. We're not suggesting for a second that the coronavirus was created or released as a bioweapon.
But I am, because that's what the Prophet said. He wants to say it was just a mistake, and mistakes happen in labs. Yes, mistakes happen in labs, but also what? Also, people have agendas. So here we are. Let me go back to what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لا يدخل المدينة المسيح ولا طاعون. Masih al-Dajjal cannot enter Medina, nor ta'un, nor a plague can enter Medina. But what are we seeing? We're seeing more and more cases, 340 cases, 333 cases a day on average. Just on March 4th, they had 375 cases, more than the average. Okay? Then you have the Prophet saying, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, تُعْرِكُ الْأُمَّةُ, the ummah will be trapped or put into a war or a snare. فِيهَا أَرَكَ الْأَدِيمِ, in it will be the cutting, the piercing, the rubbing of the inner of the skin. Figure out what that means. So the ACE2 receptor that was used to go into the human cells with the ones made in the lab versus coronavirus. Versus the coronavirus having the same gateway. Is that just a coincidence? Just natural selection happened to choose a naturally different, the same way that we made in the lab in the city of Wuhan where they study coronaviruses. It just all happened to be that way, just automatically. You can make your decision if this is lab made or not. Now, if this is lab made, then you have to be sure there's a bigger agenda. There's a bigger agenda going on. And if you understand that there's a bigger agenda going on, then definitely I will say join the Telegram channel that we have. I'll put down the information in the description of the channel. Inshallah, join us and let's get like-minded people together so that we can give proper Islamic response, or learn the proper Islamic response to this, and to understand that that this is part of a bigger agenda, and therefore everything needs to be reassessed. And so we will be talking about that, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.